Meeting to order, please, at 7 o'clock.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Here.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Here.
Councilmember Bennett?
Here.
Councilmember Hackey?
Here.
Councilmember Gibson?
Here.
Councilmember Stricula?
Here.
Mayor Nelson?
Here. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the July 8th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Anyone abstain?
I'll abstain.
Okay. It's time for the city manager's report. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. It has been a hectic day, and so this may be a hectic city manager's report. But I've got a couple of things to make council as well as the public aware of. First of all, I do want to acknowledge, prior to this meeting, council had the opportunity to congratulate Olympic medalist Carson Foster and unveil some new decorative treatments in the 50-meter pool to acknowledge both the manta rays as well as Carson's victories at the Paris Olympics. So very proud of all of the swimmers there and continued success that I think that heralds. So thank council for that, thank the public, thank everyone that participated in that. We do have and want to remind the public Small Business Community Impact Award, encouraging residents to share a story about a small business that has had an impact either on their quality of life or on the community at large. I would like to gather those as part of an effort that the Council Small Business Committee is leading out on. Women Walking West is partnering with the city to host a community potluck luncheon that will be held at the Aquatic Center Community Room from 12 to 2 p.m. on Sunday, August 18th. Participants are encouraged to bring a unique food dish from their home country to share while meeting other members of the community. Similarly, Mason Market on the Mile, which is held in partnership with the MAID CDC, is returning for the final market of this inaugural season. That'll be on Friday, September 13th. The market is held in downtown Mason, features various farming, artisan, and cottage vendors, and is held on Northwest Street near the downtown plaza. I think next, Mayor, with your permission, there's a couple of introductions and recognitions here. I would like to ask City Engineer Steve Hartke to come on up to the stand. Steve. Some of you know Steve as just an engineer. Some of you know him as leading out on Planning Commission, but this year he was known as the Instant Commander for the Red Rhythm Boom event. And I'll tell you, the July 2nd, he was a bit frazzled.
There was a planning commission meeting that night, too.
I remember. July 4th, I think he was the happiest employee of the city. It was like a burden was lifted. Steve has hopefully a bit of a reshot of Red Rhythm Boom this year. That may be his final action before we ask him to pass the torch to maybe the most stressful looking guy in the room. Next year's Instant Commander, Josh Creech. So Steve, if you'll give us a recap.
Thank you, Eric. Mayor, members of council, obviously here to give us a brief overview of the 2024 Red Rhythm and Boom, which featured Sister Hazel and the Spin Doctors. We did have an approximate crowd size of about 20 to 25,000, which we think was a little bit less than the previous year, and had a bit of a weather issue during the event if those that attended. Something that is out of anybody's control, and it is what it is, and we'd have a plan to address that weather event. So we had about an hour and a half delay, which abbreviated one of the band's performances, but they both were able to perform a set, and then we concluded the evening with our fireworks show. So As always, proceeds from the event go to the Mason Parks and Rec Foundation. Still finalizing some numbers from our partnership with the American Legion, but the kids rides, and the inflatables for the kids rides in the water generated about $17,000 this year. And then new to this year, we had a corporate partner, L3 Harris. They had actually over 400 employees present at the event. Provided some kids wristbands to them, and something that we're looking to grow upon with the city in partnership with our economic development department to create that maybe additional feature in the years to come. So no pressure, Josh. So again, event went off really well. Obviously the weather, but as Eric mentioned, today's a good day. Looking back, it all worked out the way it could have and should have, and I'm happy to be passing along to Josh Creech. He's a public utilities manager who has also served on previous incident command teams and other roles, and this next year he'll be the guy. So our incident command team is, I can't say second to none. I couldn't have done it by myself. Multiple departments, doing roles that they're not familiar with, but steps up to the challenge to assist us to have a successful event for the people in Mason. So with that, Josh, if you'd like to come up. The official passing of the torch. Good luck. So Josh will also be doing Heritage Festival this year, which is coming up on September 21st. So come join us then, and then he'll be following up with the Red Rhythm Boom for 2025. So congrats, Josh.
Yeah.
We'd like to ask council if we could pose for a quick photo with the outgoing and incoming incident commanders. Maybe while they're gathering for the photo, I can explain a little bit for the audience. When we do Red Rhythm Boom, we organize it like it was an emergency, both to help us practice skills in using instant command, which is the procedure we'd use, as well as to spread the responsibility across all the departments. Some up-and-coming leaders, it helps to raise their profile as well as gives them experience leading out a team across all departments who participate in the instant command level. If things go well, then next year Josh will be able to pass that burden on to the next lucky instant commander.
Eric, if I could just say real quick, I mean, it is no accident that our Red Rhythm and Boom event went off without a hitch. You did an amazing job, and because of it, you know, it was quite a success. So thank you very much. We appreciate everything you've done.
Mayor, with your permission, I have another introduction. Apart from Red Rhythm Boom, there is another event, maybe none of you have heard of, maybe a few people. There is a small tennis tournament that goes on annually in the city of Mason. In fact, I think it may be going on right now. It has been a large project for the region, and the city of Mason has succeed in taking a leadership role in helping to secure that tournament for the next 25 years. So we're pleased with that. However, tonight we have what I'd call the architect of securing the tournament in Cincinnati, a good friend, a good advocate, here on behalf of BMOC, BMOC Capital, which now owns the tournament. Ford Perry is the chief operating officer, a good friend to the city who agreed to take some time out for the tournament. It's today? Is there something going on there today? It has been a big weekend for BMOC, for the city, welcoming the new tournament, new logo, new owner, and a new future. And Ford's agreed to give us a little bit of a sneak peek on how far they've come and what is on the docket for the coming year. So, Ford Perry.
Well, good evening, and thanks, Eric, and to the council for inviting me to come speak to you all. Obviously, it is a big week, and it's been a big year. As everyone knows, just a year ago, we still had not made a decision about the tournament. But in many respects, I think that worked in the city's favor, because as we sat here through the tournament last year, it became obvious every day we were here as we watched both the community and its leaders rally around the event and really show us what Mason and this community is about, that we walked away, Ben and I both, and said, there's no doubt this is where this tournament needs to be. And it was a really important conviction point, and from that point forward, there have been a long list of people within the community and within this council that we owe a debt of gratitude and thanks to, because we couldn't be more excited about the opportunity to have this tournament here within this community. And I think we're particularly excited, and I've had this conversation with Eric a lot of times, to exceed expectations. It's just the way we operate, and I think you guys will start to get a glimpse of that this year as you come visit the tournament. Some of you are out this weekend, and start to see the changes that we have in store, the investment we're going to make, and where we expect to take this tournament really to the next level. So thank you from BMOC and from our entire team for giving us this opportunity, for supporting us to be able to retain the tournament within the community. You know, we expect, for a long time, I know everyone here has attended this tournament, and unfortunately there was a standard set that we did not think was becoming of the quality of the event and what it should be. And it's our goal to raise that level to well beyond what the current expectation is. Our competitive set from our perspective is Indian Wells, Wimbledon, the US Open. That's our standard, and that's where we expect to go. We expect this tournament to be one of the best in the world. And I think that creates an incredible opportunity for Mason and this community, for us as well, but to put a brand out there within the tennis world and within really the international community who follows tennis to really appreciate this. We see this tournament as an incredible economic development opportunity. It's an important economic investment for us in terms of the total capital we're putting into it. But we see those returns for ourselves, for our brand, BMOC, for our investment in tennis. Our return on that is far beyond just sort of a bouncing ball and the economics of it. It's an important investment in community and people and sport and seeing people together. But using it as a pathway for economic development for the city of Mason, not just during the tournament, but year round. We see the facility that we're gonna build as something that the community will be able to engage in every day, not just coming to watch, but when the 2 weeks the tournament's not here, being able to use this facility. It will be a facility that's unlike any public facility peer probably in the world, but certainly in the country, when it's finally finished. And we see it being able to represent the international flair of this event to reflect on Mason itself. We very intentionally, when we rebranded and created a logo this year, put a globe in the middle of our logo, because that's what this event is. Every year, more than 40 countries and every state in the US is represented from fans. So it is a truly diverse international group. Obviously the players are from everywhere in the world. So we have this incredible facility that we're gonna build, and you guys will see a portion of that this week. I think we've probably only, as dramatic as the changes you'll see, we've probably only accomplished about 10 to 15% of what's to come. So as much as I can speak about those, we did bring some slides that I'd love to share that gives you a little bit more of a preview of both what we've done and then what more is on slate. So as I said, for 2024, we've probably The changes represent probably 10 to 15% of what we have planned. There are a number of changes that you'll see, including all new seating in center court. Many of you will remember that the upper seating was just bleachers, so everything is a fixed seat now. For those of you who heard Andre Agassi joke about it this weekend, we even have some air-conditioned seating in the lower bowl for those lucky enough to find those. So we're finding lots of little ways to really take this to the next level. We've refreshed a number of the suites. We've refreshed what used to be called the top deck that we're now calling the Oasis, that will both be for premium seat holders as well as the general public. And we've added practice courts, which are a huge shortage, and we'll have many, many more in the final renovation, but we were able to add 4 courts this year. And then we've done a lot of site work preparation. And for the 2025, I'll show you some of the photos as we go. So this is center court on the top left, grandstand to the right. We also replaced all the seats in that lower bowl. We created this pixelated seating pattern. We have done it in Charleston. We think it just creates a really nice character to the bowl, makes it feel active and full, and really upgraded all the seating, lots of padded seating, et cetera. The lower left and right corner are our new practice courts, which provide important capacity. The Oasis and the public facilities on the top 2 slides are both premium space, as I said, as well as public accessible. What we call the cross-court suites, which when we arrived had holes cut in the wall for air conditioning units. We thought that was probably not the right image of the tournament, so we've completely renovated those, and those are represented in these photos on the bottom, and I think many of you will be able to see them. For 2025, lots of exciting changes. When you walk on campus, you won't recognize it. Most importantly, both the grandstand and center court will have an entirely new facade. So that will sort of modernize the entire facility and in an efficient and sort of thoughtful way, and create both a clean and sort of elegant look. The bottom right corner you'll see is our new fan zone. So both weather protection as well as a place for people to gather and for our corporate partners to have unique spaces to engage with the fans as well. The sort of pinnacle of the new construction will be our clubhouse, which will be the players' building in the top left corner. This will be the hub on a year-round basis, and it's going to be an incredible building. You can start to see some of the finish. All of these pictures represent that clubhouse. From that, we'll have a direct connection to the existing Paul Flory building. It will house our player dining, our player lounges, recovery on the second floor, large outdoor patios, a new bridge which will connect this building to the existing Paul Flory building. So you're going to have this incredible Wimbledon-like player walkover where the fans will gather down below, be able to see all their players walk across. Players will walk across along the ground as well. It's important to us that we maintain that player connectivity. But you can start to see the quality of the finish levels we expect to accomplish here. This building will also house golf operations for the city of Mason. So we're excited for that to be a part of the future of the building and really creating not just a racket facility, but a world-class sports facility. We will, I think we have a picture of it, yeah, we'll have a gym that will be of the standard for professional athletes. And so the training opportunity on campus will be great. You see here recovery rooms in the top right for the players during the tournament. Our imagery for the pro shop for tennis, a similar one will exist for golf. And then our locker rooms and publicly accessible locker rooms and the gym as well. You know, our objective all along was to eliminate hardscape, get rid of the asphalt, and create a park-like setting. And so we will have within every corner of this facility green space that will create a respite from the heat that's here in mid-August, but also year-round. We started to create some of that this year. You'll see some additional green spaces with some turf that we're adding, but also throughout the campus. And we're really excited about just changing the look and feel and having people want to come and just stay on campus. So this is just a tiny sort of tease of what is there, but I think provides a good snapshot of what the possibilities are and why we're so excited about this construction. We've got a really short time frame to get it done. So my good friend Jansen over here has got a tall task ahead of him and has done an amazing job already in what we've accomplished for 2024. But, you know, the day the nets drop, the cranes are coming in, and it's going to be a buzz of activity with hundreds of workers over there every day for the next 11 months until we can get this facility open. So with that, again, thank you for inviting me tonight. Thank you for your support on this project, both to council and to Eric and his team. We've got more work to do, but we've come a long way, and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. With that, I do want to, we did bring a little token of gratitude and an opportunity to show off our new logo for everybody on council. So we can either, I guess we can quickly hand those, or we'll set them over here, whichever you prefer, Eric.
Well, you beat us to the punch. We had gifts.
Never to be outdone.
Yeah. And I did want to recognize Andrew McClatchy, as well as Jansen Dell. If Ford's the architect, they're the engineers.
They're the real ones who got the work done.
Yeah. We do have gifts for the three of them. Jennifer will make sure you get those. The gifts we're providing them are the same gifts that we provide to all of the tennis players annually. So it gives us a chance to recognize some local businesses, encourage attendance there, as well as remember Mason as the destination for world-class tennis.
I was just going to say something real quick. First, I want to apologize for not being at the gala on Saturday. My daughter got married, so it's a valid excuse, right? I just want to thank you for coming to council tonight and presenting to us. It really means a lot to us. You took time away from the tennis tournament that's going on tonight, and we appreciate that. I know it's been a lot of work, and it continues to be a lot of work, but I am confident that we will get it all done. And I truly, I feel like we're moving in the right direction, and we all truly appreciate our partnership with you.
I say we hate to let a moment like this pass without getting a photograph of it. So Ford will bear with us. If council, we can get a photo up here with whatever this is in front.
Okay, next is a recognition of visitors. I just want to remind you that we do have a 5-minute time limit. Would anyone like to come to the podium to speak? Okay? Yes. When you get to the podium, if you could please list your name and your address for us.
Hello, respected council members, and namaste. My name is Dr. Kushal Abhyankar, and I'm a resident at 5881 Homecrest Lane, 6596 Caddies Way in Mason. Sorry, I just moved yesterday. My wires are still crossed. I'm so sorry about that. So I'm here to speak on behalf of more than 4 million American Hindus representing diverse ethnic and national origins. I stand here to celebrate Hindu Americans and condemn the attacks on Hindu places of worship, rising Hindu phobia, and anti-Hindu bigotry in many parts of the country. Hindu traditions and practices have greatly enriched the United States of America, especially with Vedanta philosophy and literature, natural medicine that is known to us as Ayurveda, as well as fine arts, dance, music, fashion, and along with spiritual practices of meditation, yoga, and community services. Hindus continue to have immense contribution in the field of medicine, science, and technology, with leadership roles in flagship companies all across the country. However, over past decade, there have been many documented instances of premeditated anti-Hindu hate crimes in many parts of the country. 1 out of 3 American Hindu students reported that they have been bullied in schools for their religious beliefs, according to the Hindu American Foundation's 2015 study on bullying and bias against Hindu students. In July 2022, a report released by Rutgers University titled Anti-Hindu Disinformation, a case study of Hinduphobia on social media, detailed how hate messages on social media translate into real-life threats for people of Hindu faith. 2 attacks occurred in August 2022 when anti-Hindu activists twice broke into grounds of Hindu temple in Richmond Hill, New York, and repeatedly took sledgehammer to the statue of Mahatma Gandhi while repeating anti-Hindu slogans. Between December 2023 and Jan 2024, 6 Hindu temples were attacked and desecrated in California. We all now know the situation in Bangladesh. It took mere few weeks for initial anti-quota protests in Bangladesh to devolve into targeted anti-Hindu violence after the coup. I want to bring to your attention that it is important to ensure security and safety of Hindus and Christians in Bangladesh. As part of this vibrant and diverse community, I request you to work together with HAC and HSS to urge our members of Congress to support House Resolution 1131, which highlights this issue. Your support will strengthen this great nation of ours and values that we all stand for. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come to the podium? Okay. Seeing that there is no one, we are going to move on to Ordinance 2024-67, and this is the first reading. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Approval of a major modification to a concept planned unit development plan for the Health Alliance planned unit development located on Old Western Row Road, west of Innovation Way, Health Alliance PUD.
Eric?
Yep, this is a first reading. We'd like to set a public hearing for September 9th.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-68. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor? Yes. Any opposed?
Accepting a State of Ohio grant and authorizing a related agreement for improvements to the Lindner Family Tennis Center campus, making supplemental appropriations for such improvements, and declaring an emergency.
Eric?
Mayor, I'm going to do my best to take what is a long story and make it very brief. We've talked about these ordinances several times. In fact, last year, legislation was taken that authorized the spirit of each of these initiatives. If anything, these next three ordinances, I'm sorry, I'd like to address the next three together. These next three ordinances are a bit of a benchmark with how far we've come, because we've executed on what council, the vision that you had laid out 14, 15 months ago in order to secure tennis here. And I think this week, seeing the initial fruits of that, and as you saw Fort Perry, there's much work yet to be done, both in ironing out some of the details, but also in executing on it in what is the gem here in Mason with the tennis tournament. So very briefly, what these three ordinances do, and I should also mention there are a number of partners here Mason was the best one, but there were other partners that contributed tennis here. Significantly, the state, which we'll talk about a little bit, Warren County, but also partners such as Tennis for Charity, that the city had a long relationship here, and we'll talk a little bit about that. A lot of entities, the corporate community, absolutely, that came together, joined with Mason in what really was a historic effort to secure tennis future in the Cincinnati region, Mason specifically. Ordinance 68 is basically the acceptance of state grant funding. And not to go into too much detail, but there were two different tranches of state funding authorized at two separate times that totaled to $50 million from the state. What this ordinance does is that, both of those flow to the city as a grant from the state to help with the redevelopment of BMOC. So this ordinance authorizes city manager to accept those dollars, ratify the agreements, or execute on the agreements. It also encumbers the total of those dollars with the city contribution, so about a $70 million appropriation towards the benefit of tennis. Ordinance 2024-69, again, as we have talked about this before, and this is where I'd speak in more detail, our relationship with Tennis for Charity, which is actually the owner of the real estate that neighbors the city's golf course. We have been both good friends and good neighbors for many years and have partnered on numerous initiatives. So it was a natural fit here when this opportunity came that the city and Tennis for Charity worked together with the help of BMOC, architecting a process here where the city will purchase the stadium, the Tennis for Charity property, as part of our contribution towards securing the tournament here. So Ordinance 2024-69 authorizes the purchase of the Lindner Family Tennis Center and the surrounding property from Tennis for Charity. Then the last ordinance here is Ordinance 2024-70. That ratifies certain documents that then spell out the agreements that the city is entering into both with BMOC, with the Mason Port Authority, as well as the Warren County Port Authority, that lay in place the structure for how a public facility operated by BMOC to keep the tournament here for 25 years will both enjoy some of the benefits of public ownership as well as the entrepreneurial spirit of the tennis tournament and BMOC Capital's ownership of the license for the tournament. So those, I know council has had opportunities to discuss those in some detail. This will allow us to ratify those agreements that have now been completed. There are some more agreements that we will continue to discuss with BMOC, but these are the significant agreements to what Mr. Perry spelled out as making that next investment in the physical structure. This lays kind of the framework and the foundation that allows them both access to the dollars and moving forward on that construction. Additional agreements will be more focused on some of the operations, financial details of how the funds are transacted, as well as the use of facilities. And likely we'll see action on those. Again, council had authorized the spirit of those, last year, early on in this effort. As those details are kind of fine-tuned and executed on, we'll likely bring several of those forward to council for ratification. I think that covers the simple version of all that. The more exciting story is that this means tennis, world-class tennis, on an elevated stage will remain in Mason and within Ohio and within the Cincinnati region for the next 25 years, if not beyond. and that is a huge accomplishment shared multiple ways. And this is an opportunity for council yet again to ratify your participation and leadership in that.
Okay,
And they are recommended for adoption.
okay. Thank you, and we love to hear how tennis is staying here. I already need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Any council discussion?
I like how you described that as in little detail, like we haven't discussed this much. No, excellent work. I mean, I know this has been, you know, as Mr. Perry was here, we've talked, and a lot of this work and a lot of the heavy lifting is behind the scenes, and staff has done such an incredible job over the past 14 or 15 months. It's been pretty darn impressive. I was telling someone the other, I think I was telling Councilmember Gibson, I don't know if I had much doubt, because when Ford stood up and was talking about when you come to Mason and people get to experience the culture and the Midwest culture, and then I think everything that we provide on behind the scenes. I mean, there's so much stuff that we do with security, with our police force, and major kudos to them. I know those are long hours for them. Think about Instant Command for 10 days, Steve. You know, you have nothing to complain about. But well done, man. This is very exciting. I got the ability to be there on Saturday, watch a new little flavor of an exhibition game, and I just can't wait to see, you know, what's next. You know, these renderings that we saw is just absolutely phenomenal, and I just want to congratulate staff again for all your hard work. I know it was somewhat of a roller coaster ride, but we prevailed, and I can't wait for it to be here for the next 25 years and then beyond. So well done.
Okay.
It probably bears some reminding that Councilmember Chance had more than just a little participation in Saturday's event. Very gracious of BMOC, and
Oh, yeah.
he did a fair job.
Well, I did do a pretty good job. My finger's a little sore from doing the coin flip, but I did a pretty good job. And I got to meet Andre Agassi, who I've been watching since, gosh, I think 93 or 92, when he came in. I was like a little kid in a candy store. So it was pretty exciting, very cool. And again, I just can't wait to see what's next.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-69, I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Ratifying a purchase and sale agreement with Tennis for Charity, Inc. for the purchase of the Lindner Family Tennis Center and surrounding property as the long-term home for the Cincinnati Open Tennis Tournament.
I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
Second?
Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula, Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-70, I need a motion to read by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Ratifying various definitive documents and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary agreements related to the redevelopment of the Lindner Family Tennis Center and surrounding property as the long-term home for the Cincinnati Open Tennis Tournament.
I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt. Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-71, I need a motion to read by title only.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for sale and purchase with Hog Straight USA, Inc., Hog Straight property.
Okay, Eric?
Yes, Mayor, I'm grateful. Michelle was, and I'll make apologies if necessary for Michelle. I was supposed to deliver the summary of this when I saw Michelle in the audience, and I encouraged her to stay just 5 minutes longer. She's going to handle this ordinance, which is well earned. This is yet another little economic development success for the city of Mason.
Okay. Michelle? It is my pleasure to be up here in front of you, of course, Mr. Hanson, and I do feel a little bit underdressed, so my apologies. This evening, I think it builds on our global portfolio that we just heard about tonight, and from 40 countries to a topic of new business growth opportunity from Bern, Switzerland. So let me tell you a little bit about one of our older companies. One of the city's first international companies moved here in 1991. And for over 30 years, we've been able to help nurture and grow this company, Hogstrite US. They also have a sister company called Reliance Medical. Today, they're known as Hogstrite US, though. Hogstrite has recently been under some new ownership, and they decided that they needed to chart a long-term future, make sure they had all the right growth opportunities in place, and needed to perform a multi-site search to look for that location. And so we did compete pretty hard. We did have to justify the value proposition of why this company not only can survive here today, but really can compete for their future market. And just a little bit about them, they manufacture precision equipment for the ophthalmic and optometry industry. For us, that has really become something important as we build on the biohealth investments that we have here in the city. And as council knows, in the last 5 years, over 80% of the new investment that we attract and 80% of the job creation is within a biohealth or biohealth-related field. And this is a great company to continue that trend. Not only do they manufacture precision equipment and specifically slit lamps when you go to the eye doctor, the equipment that tests your eyes, and then the companion chairs and other very precision things that help both eye surgeons and eye doctors do their jobs. Hogstrite has a facility here, and they really needed to centralize that facility. Actually, they have 2 facilities. So today, what we're proposing in council's economic development agreement is something I think that is signature to how Mason does economic development, and it is a little bit different. So in front of you is a purchase and sale agreement and an economic participation agreement. This really caught the company's eyes when they looked at what kind of flexibility can we build in to really help them accomplish their long-term plans. We were able to offer propose a tax incentive for their current facility to help with the renovation and retrofit, as well as what we call a real estate bridge incentive. For us, that means acquiring their former piece of property. It is in a strategic location for us that can help us recruit other targeted similar companies in the future. However, they will occupy it for 2 years. This will help them with the flow, very specifically with the flow of their operations, and ease some of that transition. This isn't something that they really can do anywhere else. It helps them retain their local workforce and then build on that. With that, it also has some infrastructure advantages for us as we build out the circulation system in the north part of the city. So it's a really interesting win-win opportunity, and they're pretty excited about it. It will also help us grow and retain over 120 science and discovery as well as precision manufacturing jobs here in the city and invest about $5 million. So with that, I'll take some questions.
Any questions? No? Okay.
It was easy. So we have a recommendation then for council to entertain the purchase and sale agreement and authorize economic participation agreement, which includes community reinvestment area abatement for 10 years for Hogstrite US.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 2024-72. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
All in favor? Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with RCF Group for purchases related to work environment enhancement project within the Mason Municipal Center in an amount not to exceed $160,000.
All right, Jennifer?
Yes, Mayor, members of council, this facility that we're in this evening, the Mason Municipal Center, opened in 2002. The layout, the planning, the design of the facility has served the community as well as the city very well over the past 20-plus years. When the facility was built, one of the primary purposes was to build it for the community. The council at the time wanted spaces in the facility that could be used by organizations and groups within the community, and it has served us very well. These meeting rooms, the community room, gets all kinds of use from organizations and groups and HOAs and stuff listed throughout Mason. But those areas have shown wear and tear over the years, and we have done some remodeling. I think the community room has been remodeled, at least carpeted twice, trying to keep a nice look to it. Now our attention is beginning to be redirected to the internal office space. In 2002, the Finance Committee discussed the priority for recruiting, developing, and retaining qualified staff in the very competitive labor market. Among some of the initiatives discussed were updating workspaces and creating more flexible work and meeting areas for staff. The 2023 budget included $450,000 for that purpose. As we do with a number of things, we seek not only staff input, but we go out and evaluate what others are doing. We put together a committee of employees who went out to a number of our corporations here in Mason, one of them being Vega, which was a newly developed corporation. And we also had a number of staff or input sessions engaging that frontline staff to find out really what they wanted or what was needed to make a little better workspace for all of them. Unfortunately, by the time we went through that process, we did see quotes, and the construction costs came in significantly higher than we anticipated. So we went back to the drawing board. We kind of redefined the scope of it, looked at maybe some different designs, but ultimately we had to push that project back to 2024. Earlier this year in April, Council adopted Ordinance 2024-45, which was for Phase 1 of the project. Phase 1 included transforming 3 offices into one large, versatile space for collaboration and formal gatherings, and it includes a kitchenette as well as some other amenities along those lines. That work recently begun and is anticipated to be completed by fall. Phase 2 includes the purchase of new individual workspaces and furnishings for the areas within the finance department that are currently occupied by a number of our frontline staff that serve as resource technicians. These resource technicians are really the backbone of everything we do here in the community. They're the face to our community. They provide, their primary responsibility is tax operations, but they also serve in a number of administrative roles throughout our organization and all 8 of our departments. This staff really does all of our work, and we really could not do our jobs without them. The cubicle area were originally designed and constructed were very flexible for us, honestly. It's lasted 20 years. We've moved it around as operations changed or grew, and tried to accommodate as many folks as we could in that area. So the flexibility we really liked. Currently, the cubicle configuration accommodates approximately 14 and are really worn, they're outdated. And often our staff is now doubling up in some of those areas, especially during the tax season, just trying to get that work done. The new and design layout and furnishings that are before you this evening will give us up to 30 additional working spaces. The new proposed furnishings will become part of the template that we hope to use throughout this building as we update other areas. We're starting in the finance department, like I said, because much of the frontline staff is in that department. The total cost of both Phase 1 and 2 will not exceed the 2024 budget amount. Ordinance 2024-72 is recommended for adoption. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Need a motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stricula? Yes. Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spade?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-73. I need a motion to read by title only.
Moved.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract or contracts with a music entertainment agency or agencies in a total amount not to exceed $320,000 for entertainment artists for the 2025 and 2026 Red Rhythm and Boom events.
Jennifer?
Mayor, members of council, if you don't mind, I'm going to cover the next two pieces of legislation. I did note that Steve Harkey, our former incident commander for Red Rhythm and Boom, is still here, while Josh Creech, our new commander, left quite quickly. But I'm happy to cover these for him in his absence. Josh and his team have already initiated work for our Red Rhythm Boom 2025 event by already starting to search out prospective entertainment. For the past several years, we've really struggled to solidify the entertainment for the signature community event. As staff was going through past year's process, we've had some really good conversations with the booking agency and learned that by transitioning from a one-year cycle of booking to a two-year cycle, we would have more flexibility and a potential cost savings. But more importantly, we could gain greater assurance that the bands that we are interested in are available prior to offers being made by the city's behalf. To move in that direction, 2024 would become a transition year, which we would approve the funding for not only the headline artist, but the opening act for the next 2 years. Then annually, hereafter, we would return to the annual approval process consistent with our current process, but the annual amount approved would be for 2 years out. Ordinance 2024-73 authorizes $320,000 for a headline artist and opening acts for both the 2025 and 2026 events, and is consistent with the annual funding amount authorized by council for the past several years. In addition, ordinance similar to what we've done in the past when we bring the entertainment legislation before council, we typically take additional legislation that provides for the stage, sound, video screens, lighting, and production that is needed at the event and to the caliber of entertainment that we secure. Since 2016, the city has used Frequency City Sound for our event and other events, including our Music and Mason concerts in downtown Mason. Using Frequency City Sound to coordinate all the production needs has been very successful. I think Steve could attest to this, and staff have the confidence in the quality of their work. With an event of this size, having someone you are confident in to handle it, the production, as well as all the staging and the lighting and everything that goes into the band's needs on stage, and that really works collaboratively with the city staff, is key to our ability to provide a successful event of this size for our community. With that, ordinance 2024-74 is recommended for adoption, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
Moved.
Council discussion? Yes.
I just want to say I'm really glad to see us working ahead. I know that it was frustrating as a new person to see lists and then find out that none of them were available. So kudos to you for taking action here.
It is kind of fun that we're already starting 2025, Red Rhythm and Boom.
And 26.
Yes, 2026 as well. Okay, anyone else have any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spade?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-74. I need a motion to read by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Frequency City Sound in a total amount not to exceed $180,000 to provide the stage, sound, lights, and video screens for the 2025 Red Rhythm and Boom event.
Okay, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
So moved?
Any council discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula, Mayor Nelson.
Yes. Ordinance 2024-75, I need a motion to read by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Cargill, Inc. for the purchase of approximately 5,500 tons of highway rock salt at $63.15 per ton.
All right, Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Annually, we try to pick the nicest day of the year to talk about rock salt, and I think we succeeded again this year. Tonight, I'll talk about Ordinance 75 and 76 together. The first ordinance is for a contract with Cargill. They were the low bidder on the Swap for G program. That's the Southwest Ohio purchasing program that we utilize. And then you can see in the write-up, the other program that we also utilize is the Warren County Engineers Office. Cargill was the low bidder on both programs. So what we're proposing this year is to go with the Swap for G program. The price is significantly better. The past couple of years, we've been around $90 a ton. The price this year is $63.15 a ton, so much better. And then, as we've done the last few years, we're proposing a second ordinance for up to $250,000 that would allow us to go to a second company if Cargill is not able to deliver salt in time for us if we had a really bad winter. We do currently have a full salt barn, and at this price, we'll make sure it's full at the end of the season again this year as well. So. With that ordinance, both ordinances are recommended for adoption. They together equal almost $600,000. We don't anticipate spending, hopefully it's half that or less than half that, depending on the winter that we have. But with that, ordinance 75 and 76 are recommended for adoption. I'll answer any questions that you have.
Okay, great. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt. It's council discussion, but I always love when we have a light winter. We know that the city is saving money. Does anyone else have any council discussion? No. Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-76, I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into alternate contracts for the purchase of highway rock salt in an aggregate amount not to exceed $250,000.
I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading. All in favor? Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt. Any council discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bennett,
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey,
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula, Mayor Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-77, I need a motion to read by title only.
Moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, Office of Safety for the purpose of creating the Mason Safety Action Plan.
All right, Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a new grant for us, a new federal grant. It stands for Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A. The first step in the process is the action plan, and the ordinance tonight is to authorize the city manager to enter into the agreement for $128,000 in federal funding towards what we think is an overall project cost of around $160,000. This would be to create an action plan really kind of a comprehensive safety plan for the whole city, not just vehicles, but also bikes and pedestrians throughout the city. And once we have the action plan complete, that opens us up to the second phase of the project where you can start to implement the plan. And so by doing this plan, it allows us to go for additional federal funds towards implementation of those safety improvements. The goal is to reduce any kind of fatal or severe injury accidents throughout the transportation network. So with that, ordinance 2024-77 is recommended for adoption, and City Engineer Steve Harkey's here if you have any questions.
All right, I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So, second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? I need a motion to adopt.
Moved. Second.
Any council discussion?
Mayor?
Yes.
I'm really excited about this because I did a community survey in the summer of 2023, and safety was a top priority for everyone, naturally. But a number of people called out pedestrian and cyclist safety as a concern. So I was really excited to read that we'll be working on that, and we're working on a plan. I know that the community will support that.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, roll call.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gibson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports?
Mayor,
Yes.
just real quick, we had our downtown committee meeting a couple weeks ago. Not really a lot to report on that. There's a lot going on, but there's some things that we're coming close to being ready to start taking some action on and to be able to report on. But we are still meeting. There's still a lot going on, and I hope to have a more full report at our next council meeting.
Okay. Would you like to also speak on the Mason Symphony Orchestra?
Oh, yes. So Friday night, we had the Mason Symphony Orchestra with special guest Livingston Taylor, and it was just a fabulous event. The weather was even better than today's weather, if you can believe it. It was a beautiful night. The concert was spectacular. Our Mason Symphony Orchestra, if you haven't heard them, I highly recommend you go to the next concert. They are just fabulous. It's always a different theme. They're very creative in what they do. A lot of cultural diversity in the different programs that they've done. It's just fabulous. I did get to meet Livingston Taylor. It was a great thrill for him. But no, he was a very gracious guy, very humble, funny. Even joined us at one of the local breweries after the show and hung out with us for a while. So fabulous, fabulous evening, and I am just so excited that we've got this amenity for our community now.
It is great. I love it. I was disappointed that I couldn't go. Again, my daughter was getting married, so I had a different commitment, but I've heard wonderful things about the concert, which I always do. So it's great. Anyone else?
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, at our last Rules Committee meeting, we still had the survey being distributed out to the community, so we really focused the discussion of our meeting on our council code of conduct, and we looked over it a little bit to see if there was anything maybe we needed to update or change or revise. We also talked about how it probably would be a good idea for potential candidates to get this information prior to actually running, because it has a lot of information in there about what our roles and responsibilities are, and I think a lot of people may deter some people from running, because we are very different than other communities. And I'll just use city of Cincinnati as an example. Our council participation is very different than the way their council members are with their mayor and that kind of thing. And most communities are very different. So we just talked about ways that maybe we could better educate potential candidates, and also talked about ways, or if it's necessary, to have, I don't like to use the word penalty, but ways to enforce the code. And I think staff is going to talk about that a little bit and come back and let us know some ideas of how maybe that can happen if the code is being violated. And so we're really excited for our next meeting because I am assuming you're all finished, right, with compiling the results of the survey? Yeah, you're working on it. So, okay, that's really great, yeah. So we're looking forward to hearing about that at our next meeting. So, there we go.
Can staff or can council get a copy of all those results?
Once we have a report.
Okay. Okay. Great. Anyone else?
Mayor,
Yes.
we did have a Veterans, goodness, what's the name of the title of our Veterans Affairs Committee, Veterans Affairs meeting.
Board of Veterans Affairs.
Board of Veterans Affairs, thank you. I've only been on it for 3.5 years. Anyway, we did meet with that group met, and the main topic was the wreaths across America. So we had a request from Deerfield Township to assist in getting funds to lay wreaths on all of the veterans' graves over at Pine Hill. As many of you may or may not know, Rose Hill across the street is in Mason, but it's a Deerfield asset. So they've asked for our assistance. We have gone out to other organizations. The American Legion is, I believe they have made a commitment for a donation as well. And we've got a little friendly competition between the city of Mason and the township of Deerfield as to who can raise the most money to support this effort. So, but we will be supporting that. And it's what's the date on that? It's in November. I forget the exact date.
Mark, can you tell us where we can give to that?
I can get you that information, yeah. It's Wreaths Across America, but there's an actual extension to that that is specific to this fundraiser, so I'll get that information.
Actually, Councilmember Gibson, it's in the center point this time. You can, actually, there's a QR code in there and you can get all the information about the program.
Or you accuse me of not reading the center point.
Okay, that's great. Anyone else?
Real quick, Mayor, Councilmember Strickley, that was the Air Force coming out, and Mr. Hackey down there, not knowing the name, but that's right. I think there's 1,741, is that right? Close to that in regards to veterans that are buried over there, and I thought that was such a cool initiative. Is that right? Did I remember that?
That is startlingly spot on.
Jeez, that's pretty good. I took my alpha male brain thing or whatever. But anyways, I think, you know, it's also a fundraising effort too. And so we talked about in the Veterans Affairs Committee meeting about how we can engage some of the corporate, but also some of the other nonprofits or groups in the community. And I would highly encourage, I think it's such an awesome opportunity to add a little flavor over there during Christmas, but also be able to raise money for different institutions, nonprofits, or groups. So I would encourage everyone from the business communities to other nonprofits to get out there and find the QR code, find the website. Again, we talked about doing a competition. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I'd like to see 1,741 wreaths up there in December. So thank you for bringing that up.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Now on to old and new business. I just have a couple things real quick. There is one person who couldn't be here with us tonight that I would like to recognize. A very happy 98th birthday to Betty Jean Westerkamp. Ms. Westerkamp has played a critical role in how Mason is shaped today. Because of her, we have many of our wonderful facilities. So I hope she is having a wonderful birthday if she's watching us on ICRC today. I hope her birthday is filled with love and lots of happiness. All right, so Ohio, I thought this was interesting and I thought I would share it with you. Ohio recently moved from the 12th spot to the 7th spot in the CNBC ratings for top states to do business in. And it shows that the state has the right mix of income, property, and sales tax to fund the government and attract business. And we all know Mason has been a leader in attracting some of the top businesses in the state. And I was going to say we recognized and celebrated Carson Foster and the swimmers, but you've already mentioned that, so that is all that I had. Does anyone else have anything? Yes, Vice Mayor Chance.
Yeah, gentlemen, Jock, I didn't catch your full name, but I wanted to thank you for bringing that up and bringing that to our attention, because I think it's absolutely shameful that that behavior goes on. And I think, and for you to stand up and publicly announce that and share it with especially in this community, to where we have a very diverse community, and I know we have a lot of American Hindus here. So thank you. I greatly appreciate that, and more attention needs to be paid to that, because, again, it's just absolutely shameful that people act that way for no reason, especially over faith, right? And so I commend you for standing up and mentioning that.
Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Heckey.
The Vice Mayor stole my thunder, but I wanted to address that as well. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us. It is shameful. It's unacceptable. No one should have to deal with that kind of nonsense in the year 2024. And I know we're very fortunate in our community, but we're not immune from it. And more attention needs to be paid to that. More people need to be aware of these types of activities. So thank you for coming in here. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, next is recognition of visitors. Is there anyone here who would like to address council? Okay, and before we adjourn, there is a tennis video presentation that I would like for us to play.
Welcome to Mason, Ohio, home to the Cincinnati Open for 45 years. Mason is a progressive and innovative community featuring world-class amenities, high-quality services, and dynamic living. Global economic development and startup activity are a key part of the city's identity. As a top innovation center in the state of Ohio, Mason has one of the largest conglomerates of national and international companies in the region. Our mission is to build a culture of wellness in the community. The City of Mason grows that mission through community amenities, like the Municipal Aquatic Center, over 300 acres of parkland, Mason Community Center, Grizzly Golf Course, the Lindner Family Tennis Center, and all-inclusive Makino Park. Mason is a community that represents a variety of backgrounds and abilities, embracing respect, compassion, and opportunity for all. The future is now. The City of Mason is more than you imagine. Welcome to Mason, Ohio, home to the Cincinnati Open.
Well, that was great. Thank you very much. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, have a great month, and I'll see you in September.
September.